Yeah, so a lot of the new legislation that was just enacted in the summer of 2012, it did a number of things. One, it provided a whole new range of tool sets to the regulators, to the FDA, to advance novel therapies, things like the breakthrough therapy designation, accelerated approval pathways, a number of different pieces of that legislation that give the FDA new ways in which they can advance novel medicines for severe unmet medical need, ways in which they can evaluate the risk-benefit ratio in ways they haven't done before. What it also did, though, and this is more the underlying thrust of it all, it was a very clear message from the Congress of the United States and the President in authorizing it that they want the FDA to move forward innovative therapies for these unmet needs. And that is going to be critical in the rare and orphan disease community. I'll give you an example. We're putting these new enzyme therapies into patients. If the view of developers and the view of regulators is to recreate every study that's been done in the last 20 years, whatever those may be, that may not be likely the most efficient way to develop these medicines. For instance, I think that the most important thing is I think about my kids with Pompe disease having been on an enzyme therapy for 10 years. I want to know, not just in people who've never taken the medicine before, but most especially in people who've been on enzyme therapy, if their doctor is going to recommend that they switch therapies to another enzyme replacement product or any other product, what is the effect of that switch? Is it safe? And does it at least maintain whatever degree of efficacy that we see with the kids or the adults currently on in Pompe or any of these diseases? And that's going to be a different regulatory mindset, a different pathway. I think we have to encourage innovation. We have to encourage a degree of risk-taking, because that will also bring more competition into the field, and with that you can have a lot more options for patients. So medical science and regulatory science need to work in tandem, not in conflict, and we need to think of real creative ways in which to advance these medicines. The prior notion that all studies have to be placebo-controlled, or that all studies have to be validated against clinical endpoints rather than surrogate endpoints, I think we need to rethink all of that. So we've come a long way. PDUFA V, FDASIA, all these regulatory pieces of legislation give us the tool sets. Commissioner Hamburg, Dr. Woodcock have shown tremendous leadership in changing the organization and the culture to be in line with the mandates of Congress and their own views that we need to advance these medicines more rapidly. What we need to do now is to make sure that that view gets implemented throughout FDA at every level, down to the most junior reviewer, and equally across all review divisions. And that is still a lot of work ahead of us to do that.